Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi, and welcome to the Sherwood Survivors podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Marcus.
Hello.
In 2020, we were like, oh, perfect time to do a podcast. You get your apartment. We're like, we can have an apartment. Like, we can do this or whatever. Like, none of us are working right now. And then you're like, I'm going to buy a house. And we're like, all right. And so, well, no, you didn't do it out of spite. You just bought a
I mean, that's dedication for procrastination.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this. Let me go buy a house instead.
My most expensive spite purchase.
Yeah,
Just for the next episode, she's like, I can't do this. I'm pregnant.
Sorry.
Just one oven every time.
Oh my gosh. Until death. I died.
Maybe next year.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. I'm crying because that was so funny. No. Okay. All right. We don't have a name, but welcome to
Podcast.
NRRI. Oh yeah, NRRI.
Sherwood Survivors.
What grade is the name of this?
Sherwood
Well,
L.
NRRL. Neural.
Just gurgle it makes it better.
Yeah. And we have our friend Marcus on as our guest for our first episode. We are aiming high right now.
Oh wow, thanks.
Again.
Oh, our first guest is a doctor.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Thank you.
Yeah. We know doctors. Yeah.
I've known about this podcast for the last 15 minutes. And actually more like the last 5 minutes. So.
That's what made it fun.
Yeah, I was like, alright.
I didn't want to tell you. I was like, let's just have him show up.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out and play games or something.
Yeah, it's a game. We're just like, never mind. Okay, so first off, I want us to say like who we are, what we do, or whatever. I don't know. I'll start, so I'll do an example. Okay, I'm Livy or Olivia, and I feel like I should say my age, like my favorite ice cream.
Do it.
I'm 25, and I like chocolate ice cream with cookie dough in it. I'm also a wedding videographer and a marketing coordinator. Your turn.
You can't, yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have. Yeah. Well,
Look at me, thank you.
I'm great. I'm Lindsay. I am 28, which makes me sound really old compared to you and you. I'm an accountant.
an actual one.
I'm an actual accountant for nonprofits. And favorite ice cream, the fudge brownie pothole at Sheridan's.
She
Clap
did
for
it
yourself.
She did it too.
I'm clapping as an introduction to Mandy.
Oh, now you tell us
Thank you.
that.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too.
I am Mandy, or Amanda, and
None of us called her that.
I am a student / working 2 part-time jobs to become a pilot. And I like all ice creams.
Not
Which one
white
do you
chocolate.
dislike?
Yeah, you
Not white chocolate ice cream.
White chocolate.
She hates white chocolate, so anything.
Anything
I
white
didn't know I had
chocolate.
white chocolate ice
I like
cream.
pistachio.
She says
but it's
anything
not my
wrong
favorite.
when I shove this down her throat.
Never met a person like pistachio ice cream. Alright.
It's genetic.
Do you also like...
Yeah, we
Do
thought it
you-
was just our grandpa, and then we went over to our grandma's house and opened up her freezer, and she had pistachio ice cream. I was like, oh, runs in the family.
That's interesting.
I don't like it. It's
One of the
just
few
weird.
times I did like one of the DNA test things and went through all the traits, went through with all my siblings, and all of us are the exact same. Like, oh yeah, we all prefer like a white chocolate, more fruity than chocolate-based desserts. Another one, we all enjoy savory over salty. So it's all like the same things that all of us are the same, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Huh. I wonder about my family now. I'm gonna do that. Okay, go ahead.
Alright, yeah. My name's Marcus. Just finished physical therapy school, so I now have my doctorate of physical therapy degree. So right now I'm just studying to take the board exam that's end of the month to be a legal doctor, so I can start working with people instead of just the title.
But he does have the title.
I do have the title, I'm just not legal.
It's not legal.
To
Well-
practice.
Awesome. Okay, so for this first podcast, inspired by Marcus, we are going to talk about the weirdest places that you've stayed because of where you lived last couple months.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I feel like yours is gonna be the best.
So I had that last.
Yes, the
Perfect.
best. Mine
Okay.
is probably the worst.
Add home with your
My
parents.
weirdest one. My weirdest place
25
I've
years.
my weirdest place I've stayed or like lived, but I mean mine isn't weird. Yes.
Do you have a caveat? Do you have to be there for a certain amount of time, or is it like a vacation stay? What's the
Vacation.
duration?
Anything.
They said vacation,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, but like all of my vacation spots have been like pretty decent, I guess. But like the weirdest. Okay, one of the weirdest places I've stayed is, lived. My apartment in Maryville. But the only reason it was weird is because the guys above me would like play Guitar Hero like nonstop throughout the night, and then also, I don't know if I told you this story. They know this story, but one time I drove back to Maryville from Kansas City, and whenever I got back, an hour and a half drive, I have to pee really bad, and I got back and my roommate was in the shower and the door was locked. And I didn't want to just bust in and go pee. I waited, and I paced back and forth in my living room. I had to pee so bad, and I was like, that's it, I can't, I gotta go. So I, like, closed the blinds, made sure everything was okay, went in the kitchen, peed in the sink. But yeah.
I was gonna guess that.
Yeah, I had to pee in the sink, so I peed in the sink. I sanitized it all completely. I had never told her. I probably need to tell her sometime. I'm still friends with her.
You got it.
But I need to tell her. Be like, I peed in the sink.
You might
The
want to listen
kitchen
to this
sink.
podcast.
There were no dishes in there. I took all the dishes out. I thoroughly sanitized it with Lysol and bleach. It was fine. No
Well,
one had to know.
Mandy almost pooped in the sink.
That same
Because
thing.
her
It was a COVID
No,
symptom.
not my sink.
because her roommate was in the shower and wouldn't get out.
For like 2 hours. It was bad. COVID poops. I didn't.
But you almost did.
Yeah.
If it was dark outside, I would have gone outside.
Oh my gosh. Over the sink?
No, like out by the trees.
No, I mean like you would poop outside over the sink.
Oh yeah.
On your residential street with like 50 people
Well, it's like,
around
I've
you.
done that before.
You pooped on the... Okay.
The roundabout, yeah.
You pooped on the roundabout?
Okay.
That's right next to your house. Why do you need to poop there?
I could not make it back in time.
Are you running?
Yes.
Hiding behind the bushes?
Yeah, so I ran from my house past the roundabout to 152, and when I got to 152, my stomach started hurting, so I couldn't run anymore. So I stopped there. I walked the rest of the way back. My stomach cramping the entire time. Like, I can't hold this anymore. So I got a roundabout and I went behind one of the bushes. I'm like, alright, just popped a squat. It's like one of those fart poops.
Shark.
Just yeah. It was just like squat for a second. There it was, and that was fine. Got a few leaves, wiped. I'm like, alright, go to the bathroom, went home
Kept
real
running?
quick. No, I didn't run.
Okay.
I didn't trust myself with that.
But the
part.
roundabout's like literally like 2 minutes from his house. So like
Yeah.
at least you didn't have like a long walk back.
Like if I started there, then yes. No, I walked like 1.5 miles, 2 miles from where I started hurting to then. I'm like, I can't hold it anymore. The Here Johnny sort of thing was about to happen.
Oh my god.
But that was in high school, so.
That was in high school? Oh my gosh, I had to wait this long to hear that story. Wow, alright, wow, okay. Yeah, Lindsay, you don't have any poop stories?
No.
Or
What about
peeing
weirdest
in
places
the-
you lived?
Yeah,
Your
what did I
question.
say? Mine's just my apartment because of the pee story. And because one night I woke up to like the smoke alarm going off and I walked out of my door and I couldn't see like in front of my face because there was so much smoke. And I like walked in the living room and I saw my roommate like freaking out in the kitchen and I was like, I'm at 8 a.m. I'm going to sleep. And I was like, whatever. So, but yeah, that's it. I don't have mine's the worst, but
I remember my poop story now.
okay, go ahead.
So,
You can tell both.
was on a work call. Well, one of my clients called, and she's a chatty Cathy, and I was like talking to her, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go. And she just kept talking. I try to get her to wrap up, and she just keeps talking. And so I'm like considering my options. Do I go to the bathroom and put her on mute? But if she asks me a question about her financials, I'm in the bathroom.
Long
I don't-
pause.
Yeah, it's a long pause between like moving over there. I'm also eyeing the trash can. That's a viable option. Yeah, but I was able to get her off the phone finally, successfully make it to the bathroom.
Good job. Oh, I have a poop story. Okay, so I just thought of one. No, okay.
I mean, I got another if you really want to know.
Mine was only a pee one, and you guys also poop story, so I tell a poop story. So
We have another one that's not as exciting as my last one, but still kind of memorable.
okay.
Continue.
But
This is this
one of
past
them
year too.
Love to Mars.
It was okay. So it was COVID, Thanksgiving. We like weren't with our family or whatever. It was just like my direct family, and we were all like sitting or whatever, and we were zooming my grandma, my oma, and then my other like extended relatives. And I set it up on my laptop because apparently no one else in my family could handle
Family
technology.
affair. Everyone was there.
Yeah, everyone was there.
Everyone
And
was
then-
behind you.
No. Everyone was in front of me or whatever, and I was like manning my laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
So then my mom goes, "Okay, Livy, like, I think that like, she's like, let's mute," because everyone was talking and saying what they were thankful for that year. So I was like muting and unmuting people, and they're like, "Livy, can you mute us or whatever?" And I said, "Okay, yeah," and I muted us, and I thought I muted us, and I did it, and then Q-Tip, my dog, Q-Tip, super cute, ran underneath me, and I was like in the squat position, you know, like on the balls of your feet. And she ran underneath me, tripped me or whatever, and I fell backwards. And I sharted. And I went like, or whatever, and I fell backwards. I wasn't on mute, so all of my cousins and aunts and uncles all heard it. And I just see them all, you know, like it's delayed lag time, and it's like, ha, and you hear them all laugh, and everyone's laughing. And then I like was laying on the ground laughing a whole bunch, like holding my stomach, because I was like, oh my gosh, did I just like poop my pants? And then wearing leggings too. No underwear, just in leggings. And I start to get up or whatever, and then I like stand up, and I was still laughing, and I like bent over because I was gonna mute it again, and then I farted again. It happened twice! And I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh, I had to throw the leggings out. So yeah, the leggings are gone in the trash.
What was one of your brother's reactions?
Did you just poop?
And what did you say?
No.
And then what did you do?
Threw in my leggings because I pooped my pants. It was only a little bit.
Did you
but
run
was-
it out though? Did you like sit back down, or did you just say no and then leave?
I
said
said
no and went upstairs.
no. I like went to the half bath, and then I went to the bathroom, and then I like confirmed it, and then I had to pull them back up, and then go upstairs and throw them away and change my pants.
So you walked that way and confirmed it, and then walked back.
It was a bad time. COVID was bad for everybody.
Well, it's a COVID symptom.
Yeah, well, I didn't have COVID, but it was just.
Just say you did.
Well, I had COVID, so.
Yeah, the COVID.
Okay, so Lindsay, unless you have another poop story. You want to say it when you go to your
We can do it, yeah.
to your other story.
Yeah. It's actually happened this past year, not at that location, but another location I was at.
Okay, so more recent. All right, I like that.
Not so much. More like the situation behind it. I now remember this day for a different reason than they should. Proceed.
Okay. Okay. Weirdest place you've ever. What is it? Weirdest
Stayed.
place to stay or live? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just say something else.
So, going into sophomore year of high school, my cousin was getting married, and so my parents flew me and my sister out to see my grandparents. We were going to hang out with them for a week and then go to the wedding. My grandparents are RVers, but very frugal RVers. So we're not staying in RV parks. We're staying Sam's Club, people's driveways, Walmart, things like that. So the beginning of the story is we start in Texas, we get to New Mexico. My grandparents are like, hey, you guys want to...
How old are you?
It's the summer I'm going into sophomore year.
Oh, okay. I just
So
didn't
maybe
know
it's going into
when in high
freshman year.
school.
14, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, my grandparents are like, hey, we're going to go to the water park. It's like an indoor like community pool that has like a couple slides. We're like, cool, that sounds like fun. So we go and we swim, and then they're like, okay, like go take a shower. We didn't realize that was going to be the last shower we were going to take for a week.
A week?
And that was the reason we went to the pool, was to shower.
In the summer in New Mexico.
And so
I've never heard this
If I
before.
would've-
I'm upset
if
right
I
now
would
for
have
you.
known that, like, I would have shaved my legs, I would have, like, washed my
Washed your
hair
hair,
a little
yeah.
better. Anyway, so So then we would stay.
This was the same year I met you guys.
Aww.
He met you right after that trip. He's like,
Actually, before, because it was the spring. That was the summer.
So did you notice the change in perspective from before the trip to after the trip?
I still see it now.
yeah, your world, you really.
Life changing.
Yeah, so we're in New Mexico, so like during the day it's really, really hot, but then it gets cold at night, so we'd be staying in like parking lots and things like that. And so the first night we were staying at a Walmart, and we're staying by like the big light, but we have the windows open because it's hot. So there's this bright light shining in. We're hot and
Construction.
sweaty.
Construction
And
lights.
then, were they construction
Yeah.
lights? And then there were jackhammers. All night long. And so you're sweaty. It's like a full-size bed. So I'm sleeping one way, Mandy's sleeping the other way with her sweaty, nasty feet in my face. And then my grandma and grandpa are like this far away in another bed. My grandpa's like the worst snorer.
You got that CPAP.
Yeah. And so there's like a jackhammer all night, and
Are you sure?
And it's like 90 degrees.
it's 90 degrees at the beginning, but then you wake up freezing because your sweat has now, it's cold outside, so now your sweat's like freezing you and your blankets are all sweaty and nasty. So that was like 3 or 4 days, and then we finally made it to my uncle's house for the wedding, and he has a small, humble home. He's like, oh, sorry, like the shower, it's kind of like, oh. I'm like, this is the best shower I have seen in my entire life. Like, me and Mandy, we'd wash our hands, and it was just like black, because it's like dusty and windy, and so there's dirt
That's
everywhere.
good.
So you just like wash your hands, and it was just like dark water. So that was the best shower of my entire life.
Oh my gosh,
input,
I feel
maybe?
so bad for you
Uh-huh.
guys.
We'd go
It
like
was fun.
hiking and stuff
Yeah,
too.
it was a
so
fun
like
trip.
we were like sweaty.
That's what I mean. Like for a week. Oh my gosh, I would not be able to make
Oh, a fun story from that trip is we were in downtown Santa Fe, and I was wearing a Nike shirt because I was a baller, and it said,
Anyone, anywhere, anytime.
and then
The
I
big
was,
Nike swoosh right there.
yeah, anyone, anywhere, anytime. And this guy walks up to me, and I'm like going into 8th grade?
Going into 9th grade.
No, you were.
No.
Okay, going into 9th grade. And
Okay.
this guy's like, no, it's not anyone, anywhere, anytime, it's Jesus all the time! And I was like,
And my grandparents don't know what he's talking about. They just heard Jesus, and they're like, that's right. Yeah!
whoa! And I was like, he was like yelling at me. And I was like, I never wore that shirt again.
burn it, burn the shirt.
I was so terrified. I was like, does he think that means like sexually?
Does he know how old I am?
You're like, I'm like 5'2" and I'm like 12.
Oh
What are you
yeah, I'm
talking
less than 100 pounds, like just like getting yelled at by this grown man. And my grandparents were like, yeah!
See, I had to throw away my leggings for one reason. You had to throw away the shirt for another.
Yes. What piece of clothing have you thrown away? Okay, so the weirdest place I've stayed, I would probably say, this year, me and my friend Allison, we're going to Austin without a plan in my Civic. On the way there, we camped in Oklahoma, where I had to, it's a manual, and she doesn't know how to drive manual. So when I was tired driving, we stopped at a, what's it called? Just truck stop?
We rest stop.
A rest stop. Yeah.
Can you camp at those?
There were other people, and it was in my Civic.
Oh, were you
so,
just sleeping in
yeah,
there?
I
Oh,
took
I thought
the
you
back.
went out and like set up a
No. And then, as we were driving into Austin, we were like trying to figure out where to stay frugally, and she has a van, so she has that van website where you can like park in people's driveways. So we hit up a few people that it's like $10 a night. It's like nothing. And we're like, hey, can we stay here? And they're like, yeah. And we're like, so we're in a Civic. Can we camp in your backyard? And so there was these 3 guys, and they were different. They were kind of like hippie gamer ravers.
You have to get age to them.
35.
Okay.
Wow. Old.
Wow, I wasn't
Oh.
imagining that.
Yeah,
I was thinking 20
they
years.
were
Yeah.
older. Yeah, and they all lived together in this house, and it was just a weird experience. I camped in their backyard. We didn't think about this part, but like using the facilities, we couldn't pee anywhere, so we'd have to wait for the sun to go down, and then we're in like a residential, like close to the city neighborhood, and I'd like pee behind a tree, like hopefully no one's looking at me. Yeah, so that
That's
was
like-
pretty fun.
Need to invest in a shiwi.
No,
Grace
that's
has a she.
disgusting.
Grace has a shiwi.
I think
The physics of it don't seem to work out very
well, you
well.
have to keep it on you after. Like if it was disposable, that would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also the physics of it, like, you gotta have pressure to get it out.
Well, it's not
No,
gonna
it works.
But
Stream.
then but does it, like, roll back after
No.
you're done?
It's
I feel
gravity.
like it would.
No.
Gravity fed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
but I
airplane.
feel like
No, because it's not like hard plastic. It's bendable.
yeah, no, I bought one as a white elephant gift.
Oh, okay. Well, like yeah,
I've never used
because,
it.
because the cup isn't like straight out. It's angled, so like the whole entire thing is angled.
Yeah, it's a funnel.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a
funnel, but
funnel.
it's an angled.
It's
it's
not-
like,
it's not a strap on.
holding it.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was holding it the opposite way. So I was like that, like where the cup part comes to here.
Why would that happen? I'm like, what do you mean they're not okay? They're like, I've seen Grace
Okay,
use one.
I
It,
get
it
it.
worked
Okay,
perfectly.
I get it now. My concept was
What?
see, I was thinking it. We need to have one so I can like
need to have
demonstrate
one.
how I think.
Next podcast, right here, we're gonna use one.
Anatomy doll. Like,
Nice surprise. We have
Anyway,
Yeah. So Mandy, next Christmas I'll get you a shiwi.
see, I think
Or
the
oh,
only
your birthday.
benefits-
I need to get. I should have bought you that instead of giving you money on Venmo.
Yeah.
Well.
She would just have it on backwards for completely opposite reason.
Backwards Chewy.
Lindsay's like,
Let's just call the diaper.
I'm just getting stores.
See, I think they'd only be beneficial if you're like driving and you need to pee in a bottle or flying or something like. Then you can kind of like wrap it up and like store it away. But like if you're camping, just pee on the ground.
but what if you're peeing in someone's backyard?
Yeah,
You
like
have to
you.
whip it out. You still have
But
to
you're
pull
gonna
your
be
pants
like in
all
the
the way.
tent.
No, I wasn't in a tent.
Was
Okay, I guess if you want to be in a tent, I was in a hammock. But like,
Alice
Oh,
in
even
the
then,
tent?
gravity fed.
Yeah.
Just let her to start going on.
Yeah.
there's actually a rock climbing company in Metolius, and they have a pee bottle for when you're like
High in the air.
high in the air climbing walls. You pee in the bottle if you're a man, and or have a shoey, and then it like doesn't go back out.
Oh.
Which I thought a screw-on bottle would do the same, but this
Well, what
one's
if you-
$12.
It does
if you-
not.
You drop the lid.
Oh, that's a good point.
Why don't you just pee on the side of the cliff?
That's what I would do.
People below you.
That's
you
their
pee
fault.
on the
They should
side of
climb
the-
faster.
If you pee on the side of the
Good.
cliff, it's like, oh, I guess if someone was climbing up directly behind you, that would not be good. Okay, never mind.
That's what I'm saying. They can climb faster.
Yeah.
More
That's true.
motivation.
Or they could just be like,
You better move.
Oh.
We're sponsored by Metolius, link below for the pee bottle.
oh my gosh. All right, well, now we come to the grand finale of the stories.
Our guest.
Our guest story of the
There we
weirdest
go. Yeah.
place you stayed.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the poop story first, actually.
All right, here we go.
So this past year, we're doing a lot of clinical rotations, going throughout the U.S., different places. So last November, I was in Colorado Springs for 5 weeks, and then this past summer, I was in South Carolina, and this past fall, I was in South Dakota. So in South Carolina this summer, my brother got married. Couldn't go to the wedding, so it's on a Monday too. So they wanted the day itself because they met on the 27th. Both their birthdays are on the 27th, so they wanted their wedding on a 27th.
Oh, okay, I was like, ooh.
That's why it was on a Monday. So I couldn't go to it, so I just had to zoom in and everything. So my brother-in-law, he and I were on Snapchat doing it there, and I was waiting for it. I just had a poop. I'm like, I can't hold anymore. I'm by my place by myself right now, so like, alright, just make sure my video was off. I went to the bathroom and sat down on the toilet as she was walking down the aisle. Oh yeah.
Okay,
I
I
was
was gonna say,
muted
why would
and
you?
silenced. So at that point, I was like, all right. I remember this moment before walking the aisle because I'm pooping at the same time.
It's like, yeah, this is the most memorable poop of my life.
That's exactly. I know exactly where I was at that time.
Was it better than like being there in real life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Can't poop
A
in the
shared
in the chair.
experience.
Yes. So there was a lot. It was like spur of the moment kind of thing for their wedding. So you know what? I'm okay. I missed it. I was there in spirit.
And you have a good story.
Exactly. And then the weirdest place I've ever stayed or lived. So it was this past fall in South Dakota. So lived in a place called Miller, South Dakota. Population 1,500. So nobody lived in this town. The closest Walmart was an hour away.
An hour?
An hour.
You didn't tell me that. Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
an hour away, the closest Walmart. If that says anything about how big. There's no McDonald's either. So no Walmart, no McDonald's, nothing there. So this past February, the clinic manager sent me an email. Says, hey, have you found a place yet? Which should have been red flag number 1. He's 6-7 months out asking this question. Do you have anywhere to live for 9 weeks? Looked a little bit there, couldn't find things, so I'll wait till later to see if I can find some more stuff. So I was in South Carolina just Googling every day places around Miller, South Dakota, Airbnbs, Furnished Finder, anything. There was nothing. So it was like a week, 2 weeks before, still messaging the clinic manager, like, hey, so I have nowhere to live yet. So mentally what I was planning on doing was just driving there, leaving my car for the first couple of nights just to figure something out. Or if anything, one of the people working in the hospital feel bad for me and let me live with them. That's what I was banking
You're
off of.
hoping on pity.
That's
Yeah.
really what I was going for. So the clinic manager reached out to me again. He's like, you know what, we've had people in the past and COVID's not super high right now. We have not met capacity for our hospital in a long time. What you can do, what you could do, is actually live in the hospital. So that's what I did. For 9 weeks, I lived in a legit hospital room, a patient room. Again, this town was very small. It's a 1-story, 1-floor hospital. They only had 7 patient rooms.
And you were taking
And
up
I
one.
lived in 1, which means there were 6.
Wow.
The entire time I was there, they got maybe 4 or 5 people in there, so there was always 1 extra room. So at that point, I was getting nervous when I saw like 5 people in the hospital at once. I'm like, all right, somebody die, somebody do better, get out of here, because I don't want to leave. But yeah, it was interesting. The best part was the bed, actually. Like my low back hurt, let me just elevate the feet and just recline. So nice. 1 minute commute from my room to where I was working. Just had to kick Gina out of the wheelchair to go down the way because she was taking the whole hallway.
Who's Gina?
Just a made-up name.
Oh, okay.
HIPAA.
Who?
Oh, HIPAA. Okay.
Who's Gina? And then on the weekends, I did my laundry in the laundry room they had, which could have been really weird because I did in the middle of the night, like around 9 o'clock. So all the lights were off, and I'm just walking down the hall with my
Oh
laundry.
my gosh.
I think it was like the 3 like safety lights on. Like, I'm just walking down the hospital
That was
room.
good.
Like, pretty sure this is a horror movie right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
how
would
many
think.
people were in the hospital at night?
That's a great question.
I never saw
For
anyone.
the longest time, it was me, 1 other patient, and like 3 nurses.
3 nurses per patient? That's pretty good.
It was 1 patient. I don't know what they did all day. Like, for the longest time, there was just 1 patient there, and I don't know what he was in for because we weren't seeing him for therapy. But yeah, it was just him by himself in the hospital, and then 3 nurses working the overnight shift. So I'm like, okay, I know not all you guys are working with him right now, so what are the other two of you doing right now?
Yeah. My gosh.
Let's see, yeah, honestly, it wasn't a bad experience. The small town was interesting, just get used to it. Another fun fact, they only had stop signs. There was no stoplights. There was 1 blinking stop sign on their main street, but that was about it. I used less than a half a tank of gas the entire 9 weeks I was there
Wow.
because I had
Yeah,
no reason to
good.
drive anywhere. My first week there, was meeting all the people who worked in the hospital, all the patients. I was letting them know where I came from, and I'm not kidding. All their first sentences to me was, "I'm sorry. Why are you here?" I'm not even kidding about that either.
What kind of like what? This is gonna sound like we're in a western, but what was their main source of import or like not import? What was their
Export.
export? Yes. What did they do? Like, what do
So
you think? Why? How are they alive? You know, like
It's a
what are
lot
they-
of farming town up there.
Okay.
So
That's
the
what I figured.
PT I was working with, her husband, his whole family owns like a corn bean farm. So they would make
Okay.
it there and then like ship it out to local areas local to like South Dakota, North Dakota area.
Okay.
So that's like most of what the people were doing there. Otherwise, they work in the hospital or the few random places they have in town.
I guess I was like, if they're apologizing to you, what are they doing there? Like, sorry,
They're not doing much.
we're stuck here. It's like WandaVision, and they're all stuck there.
They're like, oh yeah, you should go to the hills for some weekend, which is Mount Rushmore, which was 4.5 hours away. That's the only place they recommended that's anything to do in South Dakota.
So what did you do for fun?
What did you?
I did a lot of running. Literally around town.
You got to know town well.
Yes. I think there's one street I did not go down. Not because of any reason, I just didn't run down that street. On the weekends, they have nice little parks, so I just kind of go out there, put my slack line up, or hammock and read a little. Otherwise, I just watch a lot of Netflix and TV. There was one day I had my watch on, and by the end of the day, can you guess how many steps I took that day?
100.
It was
No,
like-
wait, are we including the running or no?
No, so it was
Okay.
a Sunday.
Oh.
So like total steps in one day.
Yeah, 100.
72.
It was like 50. Like not 50, like 500.
Oh, I was like 50!
500, like, yeah, 500.
Wow.
Jeez.
I've had days at home here, like, you know what, I'm gonna try to go under 1,000 just because I'm be lazy. Never achieved.
Yeah, what the heck?
What would you eat?
Hospital food.
So,
Did they have a cafeteria?
Oh.
so the
Maybe that's
hospital
what
was
one of the
connected with
nurses-
assisted living. So the first I got there, one of the nurses said, hey, you'd be able to have like free hospital food for everything. So I was like, sweet, I don't pay for food or anything. That's awesome. The next day I get to work, found out like, no, you do have to pay for it. So only had that lunch for free. Otherwise, it was things I bought myself. So it was a lot of
Where at?
the local grocery store.
Okay, they had one.
Oh, I
there.
was gonna say, like, you drive all the way to
I
Walmart?
did once that first week there. Then after that, like, forget this. I'm not
Uh-uh.
doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the local grocery store. So I had a lot of microwave food. So microwave soup, those like mac and cheese packets. What else? They had a microwave, a toaster, and like this pizzazz, like a rotating oven for pizza. And those are the only like hot sources I had. There was one Friday night I had a lot of fun. I bought a lot of beer for myself, and I like they didn't second have beer in the room. I just kind of assumed I shouldn't. So I did. I had a duffel bag, and I just put all my alcohol in the bag and carried it to the hospital instead of like walking in with a 30 rack. It was like one Friday night. I got really bored. It's like, oh, I was playing some video games, and I realized by 1 o'clock I had like 11, 12 beers for myself that night. So I was like, I'm getting drunk in the hospital.
I'm getting drunk in the hospital.
It was a great night.
They kick you out. You're like, you can't do this.
I live here.
I need an IV right now, please.
Hydration.
Any creepy stories of being in the hospital or not?
I
Because
mean,
personally, that would creep me out.
it didn't feel like the North Kansas City hospitals here. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like your local like private family doctor going to his office. That's
Okay,
the feeling
okay.
it felt like.
That's less creepy.
Yeah. If it was like at North Kansas City or less like that, that'd be more creepy with everything.
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Well, because my mom worked in when she worked at Leavenworth Hospital, you'd have to get to like where to park like in the employee parking lot, so you didn't have to like walk super long time. You had to go underground and then go up in the building, and there's this extremely long hallway, and it's all underground, and there are no doors, so like there's no rooms down there. So it's just, she said, she was like, we had to walk through it one time, and I think I like blocked it out of my memory because it was so scary. But it was like, it's just like, imagine like a long tunnel, like just with like, you know, the fluorescent yellow lights, and you're just walking through it like for like a couple of minutes, and then you get to the stairs. But like you can't see the like where the door is that you're going up. It's like that long. And I was like, and one time she's like, you should come to my hospital and film a movie down there, Livy. And I was like, no, I don't want to. It's creepy. I blocked it out.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all.
Oh my.
Let's see what other fun.
What's the weather like there?
I mean, it was nice the whole time I was there, thank goodness. But it definitely can get like really snowy and icy. They showed me videos of, like 2019 and there's snow drifts that were past gates. So gates that were holding their cows. I'm like, yeah, so you see the cow's footsteps right there. I'm like, I'm leaving.
What was like the landscape like?
Flat.
Was it just like middle of nowhere, Kansas?
Flat,
Like
yes. Hold on, I have a picture of one of my runs that I did.
I remember that when I looked at it and I was like, it looks like you're in Kansas. It was like, he's not there, he's in Kansas.
That's 2 miles out of town.
Wow.
Looks like Kansas.
Yeah, dang.
I was thinking there might be some like hills.
Nothing at all. So, yeah, and then the room. The other side.
Wow.
Did they bring in that TV for you?
Oh, and I brought that in myself.
Oh.
I feel like if like the first morning if I was there, I would wake up and like I would think something's wrong with me. You know, like seeing like a hospital room being like,
but
oh my
see,
gosh, am I
I already
sick? For a
know
minute.
something's wrong with me, so I fit in great there.
Felt right at home.
It's fine.
I need help.
You got
That's
the little
fine.
rippy socks.
So with that,
You got some?
I mean, they're in like the drawer right there, so I could have put them on. No.
So I could have. It's like had access.
So that we had a class meeting on Zoom talking about graduation coming up, the semester we're about to have, like the 6 weeks in person. So like for this meeting, I knew it was gonna be pointless. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have fun with this. So I got into the Zoom call, and I'm sitting there in like the recliner in the hospital room. So you see, turn it on, you see my hospital bed, like the curtains behind me, and I just had more fun with it. So I put a hospital gown on.
Oh my god.
I'm not wearing shirt under it, so you just see a hospital gown, me sitting in a chair, hospital bed behind me. I had like 6 classmates text me like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Please keep this up.
You like get an oxygen thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I should.
Have a nurse come in with a stethoscope.
Yeah.
I was fine the whole 8 weeks I was there. Week 9, twice, people randomly came into my room.
Why?
One was a doctor, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I worked from like 8:30 to 5 most days. So like, you know what, it's 8 o'clock, I'm just laying, chilling in bed on my phone. The doctor comes in and starts talking to me, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm doing good, how are you? Then he realized, oh, I'm not supposed to be seeing you. I don't need to see you. Like, awkwardly starts apologizing, like, leaves the room. I'm so sorry about this. I'm like, you're fine, don't worry about it.
The awkward backstep.
Like the Nick Miller from New Girl.
Yeah, he's like.
So that was 8 o'clock one morning. I think it was a Monday. That Wednesday, it was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't tired yet. I was about to go to sleep. So I'm just laying in bed. Nurse walks in, opens the door, looks at me. She's like, oh, I got the wrong room again. Closes it. I'm like,
You guys got 6 rooms.
Yeah, what are you talking
we
about?
got 2 patients in the hospital. And me, and on the other side.
You needed to make like a little nameplate.
Yeah,
Marcus's room. Not a patient.
But they moved me around a few times because the
Oh.
room I was originally, they do sleep studies in. So they did 2 or 3 sleep studies. So I had to move out of my room to different ones to go back into it.
So you
Oh,
could have
that's
got a
weird.
free sleep study while you were there.
I could have. After the first one, they realized, hey, do you want this extra like memory foam mattress pad? I'm like, yes. Slept so good that night. I went to bed like 8 o'clock.
Nice. Dang, oh my gosh.
It was interesting. Because it's such a small town, like the PTs there, they worked in all the different fields. So I worked in the hospital, the outpatient setting, home health, which was interesting, the nursing home, and school. So I got a good
School.
variety of everything to see. Okay, nursing home, that's definitely not for me. So it just kind of helps solidify a lot of things there.
Yeah. That was cool.
Only had 2 patients said, I want to die, leave me alone.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
only
that's so
2.
sad.
One was at the nursing home. She's like, I'm in pain. Just let me die. And it probably wasn't kosher to say me too and leave, but so I didn't say that. But when you're standing there, it's like, I don't know how to respond to this right now. It's like, all right, just kind of nodded my head and looked at my clinical instructor who I was with. I'm like, you're taking the lead on this one because I don't know how to do this. But yeah.
That's so sad.
I'm in pain. Let me die.
I mean, oh yeah. At that moment, I was like, I'm just like, your heart drops. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what to do for you right now. I
I've
wish
been
I
done
could do
physical
something.
therapy before because it makes you want to die even more.
Well, that's like that makes me sad because like that's what my grandma was like. My
Yeah.
grandma passed. She was like, because she'd have moments where she would be like, "Yeah, I want to do the physical therapy or whatever," and that's why she went to the rehab facility to do the physical therapy. And then she was like, "No, I don't want to do it. Like, I just want to die." And we're just like, "What?" And then it was like, and the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, it could have been the meds she was on. This is this," and we're like, but you'll never know. And we're like, and then it was a certain point where she couldn't do physical therapy anymore for her hips. But it was
Yeah.
like.
It's
She-
interesting. Once they get to a point where they kind of mentally get to that spot, their physical decline just drops. Like it's so
Yeah.
amazing and it's like bizarre to see how quickly that happens too.
Yeah, and that just solidifies that age is just a number, and it's your
For that, consent is still proper.
Okay.
After 13.
Again, I'm only talking about. I'm not talking about this. Marcus brought it up.
I like to cause some havoc. You know me.
Yeah, Yeah. So Lindsay, you're not that old.
I feel like I'm almost 30.
Do you want to be 20? You're 20.
It's okay. I feel like I'm 65 sometimes.
I've been 14 for too long.
All right, Brooke.
Brooke's 12. I'm 14. She's 12. Because when she first came to FCA and she was going to go into 8th grade, she was 12 and she was about to turn 13 and everyone was like, "You're 12 and you're going to go into 8th grade? You're so young!" And it was, because her birthday's in January, so she started when she was 12 and then turned 13 in the school year. So Brooke's 12. But yeah, mentally. I'm 14 mentally.
Growing up
Just
to
12 has the baby.
Yeah.
You know.
I met her baby.
So her
Cute little
husband
baby.
agrees. Age is just a number.
Oh my god! Alright, that
Took a big turn right there.
yeah, my god. I'm talking about death. And I just want to die, leave me alone, and then listen.
Well, on that note, want to wrap it up?
We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Marcus, for coming on our podcast.
Walking through this door, seeing the cameras, and being like, "Guess what?
It's a podcast! I'm like, I know you're so newlywed. Come on.
No!
Well, we did see the book.
But yeah, thank you for listening and watching our podcast. We will be posting every once in a while. Because this is not a
Not making
serious thing. This is a fun
promises.
thing. It's a fun thing, unless we get rich and then it's a serious thing.
We have to make a lot of money for us to all quit our jobs. So.
I said rich.
We don't have to quit our jobs. It takes like 30 minutes out of the week."
But I mean, if we're making a lot of money, I'll quit my job.
Yeah, don't test me.
I won't quit my job.
If we get
Because it's
Five-
video, so this will
Yeah,
be good.
this is a side hustle.
100,000 likes on this video, Lindsay will quit her job.
Yeah, like, let's get her to quit her job.
Let's get her. That's the mission.
No. Never mind.
You're the only one who said you wanted to quit your job, so do you not
I'm
like
just
your
saying
job?
If there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Marcus won't quit his job. He's worked too hard for his job.
Yeah.
If I become someone's sugar... honestly... You know, I've been saying this since freshman year of college. Way back when girls used to go to college to find a guy to pay for their lifestyle. It is now 2023. It's now 2023. Equality. If I can find that for myself, like reverse roles, someone pay for my lifestyle, I am fine.
Dude, no,
I just have the title now. I'm just saying doctor. I'm like, I'd be a doctor at home. That's fine.
A
Yeah.
doctor, stay-at-home dad.
I was listening to a podcast or whatever, and there was this girl who was talking about, who called in on a story and said, "What should I do about this?" And her boyfriend met this like dude at a bar or whatever with his friends, and he was just talking to him, you know, like a normal like conversation or whatever. And then the guy after the conversation for like an hour gives him $200 and says, "Thanks for talking to me," and just leaves. And then he got his number or whatever. He texts him and says, "Hey, you want to come over and watch like it was like some NBA game?" And he's like, "Okay, sure, like I don't have anything to do." He told his girlfriend where he's going and stuff. He's like, "In case this guy's creepy or whatever." He goes, it's like this penthouse. And then and he's like, "Oh," in like a hotel, he's like, "Oh, I'm just here for a little while. Like I have to go back to, I don't know where I think it was like Nigeria or whatever." And then they find out, I think he was a prince in whatever country it was. He was a prince.
A Nigerian prince?
Yeah, and they're like, it sounds hilarious because it's like, oh, a Nigerian prince. It's like, oh, it's not real.
Yeah.
But like, he's actually like, they found him on like Google search, and they're like, it's this dude. Oh my gosh! Because whenever he went over to the NBA game, they talked for like the whole entire time, and the dude was like, yeah, it's really great. Like whenever I come to the United States, like I don't really talk to people, and I miss that. And I'm not married, because I have my business. My work is so demanding. And he like leaves and pays him $500, and apparently he's like, I have to go like home or whatever. And then he will literally pay this dude once a week, call him on the phone, talk for a couple hours, and pays him every week like sums of money, depending on how long the phone call is.
Okay.
And he was talking to him.
I call that
Where can I do that?
friends
Right?
with bennies.
Friends with what?
Friends with bennies.
Bennies.
Benefits.
That's hundreds.
Oh. But they're I mean like
Benjamin.
real
Yeah,
just friends with
bennies,
benefits.
yeah.
Yeah. Real friends, just friends.
Just friends.
But yeah, I was like, why can't everybody do that?
Right?
Well, it's like Sherwood when the autistic boy would pay us in Airheads to be his friend.
Oh yeah.
It worked.
We were his friend.
I don't think this Nigerian prince was autistic though.
I think he just wanted to watch us have fun though too.
Yeah. He's like, let me
He said,
study
if you
these interactions.
go off the diving board, I'll give you an airhead.
Oh,
And then we
okay,
did it. Like,
okay,
I think he just wanted to watch us have fun. Because I don't remember actually, like, playing games with him.
I think we did.
On next time, we will talk more about this.
In the
Hey.
untitled title podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Sherwood Survivors,
Yeah, so we'll talk about Sherwood more.
but I thought that was the name of the podcast.
Yeah. We should have. Now we need to do an intro. Let's do an outro.
Okay,
let's
bye!
let's do an outro and then do our intro, okay? Alright, well, catch us next time. Again, Marcus, thank you for coming on
Thank you
the
for
brand
having
new
me.
podcast, 15 minutes in advance. We really appreciate you.
Talk
We're
for
all
yourself.
so very thankful to have a doctor of PT as our friend.
Yeah, you're gonna
We-
pop our backs after this too.
Alright,
With
so
that, I did it better than her chiropractor did one time. I felt very confident.
I told him about that. I was like,
and then we're like, we need to have him pop our backs.
well, yeah, so thanks for watching. Alright.
Bye!
Bye!